Hello. Hello, my name is Bethany, and I was an ugly child. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, ooh, don't you think that's kind of harsh? Like, nobody's ever an ugly child. And the answer is, no, let me have this! Especially whenever my friends tell me, they're like, or even my own mother, when I told her that this was the project I wanted to do, she said, Bethany, you weren't an ugly child. And then I showed her the pictures that I brought from the photo album, and she went, yeah. Or just even like with my friends, they'll say, like, no, I knew you. And then I show them a picture and I can see them like physically flinch. And so that's my answer. It was even like a little bit difficult when you're growing up and somebody's like, oh no, you're not ugly. And it's like, no, I know this. A bit of background on my orthodontic history. I was like a relatively cute child until my baby teeth fell out. And that's when shit hit the fan. Like at one point my gums kind of turned purple and I went to the orthodontist and he was like, yeah, that's not good. So then my baby teeth, they grew in and they kind of grew like they were trying to escape my mouth at all different angles. And I remember we bounced from orthodontist to orthodontist. At one point I was even at the university and people were studying my teeth and even they didn't know what to do in order to fix it. Whenever I pass by the dentistry building, I kind of have war flashbacks. Or sometimes when I go to sub, I remember trying to eat fries with my dad after I just gotten my headgear installed. And that's kind of strange. But yeah, like my teeth were so bad that they stuck out so much that whenever I need to eat a sandwich, I'd have to eat it from the side like some type of alien because my teeth stuck out so much that they'd only just like flatten the bread as I tried to bite down. So sometimes even when I eat a sandwich now and I make the bite mark, I'm like, ooh, this is good. I'm living my life. So a bit of background on all the orthodontic work I needed to get done. I had 4 years of braces. I had both braces on my top and my bottom teeth, but before then I had a ton of appliances that didn't do anything, including but not limited to headgear. I had this thing that went across the top of my mouth that acted as like a brace, and I had a little wrench and I had to put that on the top and I'd crank it and it would slowly spread the top of my mouth apart. I had 6 teeth pulled, even though technically 4 because 2 of them were wisdom teeth, and double jaw surgery, which was really difficult. So I mean, that was something I had to deal with, but I think the strangest thing that I have noticed ever since getting my braces removed and ever since having the jaw surgery is how different people treat me now. I think it's really difficult dealing with your own self-perception when you have been an ugly child because people tell me that I'm pretty now and I'm like, what? Especially like trying to date, like that is uncomfortable. I just like, every time I think about dating, I'm just like, like the other day, I was dancing my little heart out to Cotton Eye Joe at a dance, and my friend videotaped it and she put it on her Snap story, and this guy texted her and he was like,
who is that girl on your Snap story? I think she's really pretty. Please give me her number.
And when my friend told me this, I was like, sounds fake, but okay. So, and I think that's really negatively affected me whenever I do go out on dates because, you know, the couple dates I've been on, they're kind of like, they're okay. But then I've had quite a couple of people tell me afterwards, they're like,
you know, I got the distinct feeling that you didn't like me.
and even though it's like, yes, I mean, I did like you, but it's kind of like I'm playing this mind game where I'm like, I need to be the one on top here. Like, I need to control the situation. You don't really like me, you're just playing a game here, but guess what? I can play a game too. So like, I still don't trust guys whenever they do show an interest in me, because when I was younger, there was this game that we'd play in junior high, and it was called the Zap game. What is the Zap game, you may be thinking? Well, I will tell you. A zap was a name that you would write down on somebody's body part. It would be like their arm, their hand, their wrist, like anything. And if that person looked at that name before the school day was over, they had to ask that person on a date. So that name was usually somebody that people did not want to date. And guess who was often the zap? Me. So there were a couple times where boys who I thought were really nice people who, you know, maybe I would want to date, would ask me,
hello, Bethany, I want to go on a date with you.
And their friends would be behind them going like, oh my god. So I quickly developed trust issues. And that's not even getting to, you know, being in the halls and people would just yell at you and say, hey Bethany, my friend here thinks you're really cute. And then the friend would be like, Jared, stop it. It's kind of hard not to develop trust issues after that. This is like bringing back all these memories. So now, even to this day, like 10 years later, whenever somebody's like, hey, I think you're really pretty, I'm like, bullshit. What kind of game are you trying to play, Jared? And it wasn't even just children who would, you know, make it very clear that I was ugly. One particular story is that growing up, I had this great aunt who we would call Cha-Cha. And Cha-Cha was very set in her ways. She is very much a woman of her time. You know, she believes that women are only on the earth in order to please men, and it is a woman's duty in order to be beautiful and refined. So growing up, me and Cha-Cha did not get along. But there was one time, I think, when I was around 9 years old, where we went to her house for a visit. And Cha-Cha spent the whole evening doting over my older brother, saying, oh, Spencer, you're so handsome. Spencer, oh, what a lady killer you are going to turn out to be. Spencer, you're so beautiful for a young man. And then, as we were leaving the house, as she was escorting me out, she said, Bethany, and you're just ugly. That's a real thing I had to grow up with in my family dynamic. Or take, for example, how my Ukrainian dance teacher, he was always mean to me for no reason that I could tell, because I did my best to work really hard and, you know, be obedient, and I went to every class, I was on time. And then one day, I showed up after getting my braces for the very first time, and he gave me a hug. And he said, finally. And that's when it occurred to me, he's been mean to me because I'm too ugly for him. So it's been about 2.5 years since I got my braces removed. It's been about 3 years since I had my jaw surgery, which significantly changed my appearance. That is a very small fraction of my life in comparison to the many years I was a metal mouth, or the many years I had, you know, buck teeth and whatnot. So sometimes when people talk to me and they say like, oh, like, you're really pretty, I don't understand what they're talking about, because in my mind's eye, I'm still that weird looking girl who kind of looks like a goblin and has her teeth poking out in all different directions. Sometimes it's only, like, you know, sometimes I do have a moment of clarity, especially like, you know, when I'm getting ready and there's a mirror in front of me and I'm like, you're cute. But I don't know, it's so hard to put such a short amount of time of your life in perspective. It's kind of like everybody loves the story of the ugly duckling and how he turns into a beautiful swan, but that beautiful swan is probably having an identity crisis every day because he was thinking that he was a duck, and no, he's a swan. How does the swan deal with being a swan when all his life he was told that he was an ugly duck? And so the moral of the story is that nobody is an ugly child. Whenever I look at older pictures of myself, I think, you know, this is a girl who knew how to have fun. Like, this girl didn't deserve the treatment that she got. She just wanted to be loved by her peers and by adults. And so I think one thing that I need to realize as I grow older is that the problem wasn't with me. It was never with me. The problem is that there are other people in the world who are mean to children for no reason just because they don't fit a mold. And that doesn't even apply to just children. It's people who treat others differently for being different that are the ugly people in this world. I don't know, I think about myself 10 years ago and I just want to give her a hug. Like, I can't imagine if she was here sitting next to me on the couch and me turning to her and saying, you're ugly, or treating her as less than I treat another child. Like, I can't do it. I don't understand. And so I feel like that is a big benefit of being an ugly child, I guess, is I feel like it's made me a more caring person. It's made me really focus on the things that are really important, like a good sense of humor, being kind, being generous. And I don't know, I feel like growing up ugly has really helped me. I feel like I wouldn't have the sense of humor that I have now if, you know, I were a beautiful child who looked like a little cherub. I don't know, I'm grateful sometimes for growing up ugly.